I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, and welcome to our podcast, For the Health of It. Remember to subscribe to our podcasts, and I'll help you naturally get well and stay well.
The information presented on this program is not intended to take the place of your personal physician's advice, and it is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Discuss this information with your own physician or healthcare provider to determine what is right for you.
Are you suffering needlessly? Dr. Joe can give you advice on how to naturally get well and stay well. Dr. Joe Esposito.
We're going to talk about things that you're doing that are ruining your body and your health. And these are going to be surprising things. It's not some of the basic things you're thinking about, like food and eating right and everything. We're going to cover a little bit of that. We're going to cover a lot of other things that you're doing that's ruining your health. And I want to start out with an interesting one. If you're lonely. This is an important factor, especially as we've gone through COVID. A lot of people have kind of isolated themselves, and loneliness has actually become a problem. And I've been in practice now 38 years, so I've seen patients come in and they tell us everything. And one thing we're really seeing for the first time ever in all these years is people are feeling depressed and they're feeling alone. So loneliness can cause chronic stress, and that can wear down your immune system, which makes you more susceptible to other diseases. According to a study published in the journal Antioxidants and Redox Signaling, I know it's probably a journal you have in your bathroom right now, feelings of loneliness affect the body on a genetic level. It causes an increase in pro-inflammatory genes and decrease in genes that produce antibodies and help the immunity. It actually makes your body weaker. So the result is long-term inflammation, and that can represent a key mechanism in developing loneliness-associated chronic diseases. These things can be arteriosclerosis, cancer, neurodegeneration. The nervous system starts to degenerate. So it's a really serious issue, especially among seniors. It's interesting. All the seniors I've ever known in my life, they all want one thing. They want friends. I'm so lonely. My friends have died, or they've moved on, or we've separated. I wish I could find friends. And what's interesting is it's everywhere. Seniors across the world are lonely. And if we could just get them together, that would be great. I don't know how to do that, but that's just something to consider there. So if a elderly person calls you and just wants to get together, all as they want is your time. And not just elderly, but anyone. They might just want your time. They don't want a present. They don't want you to bring a cake. They just want time. And if you can do that for somebody, you can actually help build their immune system. It's really cool. So try not to get too lonely. Maintain social contacts. Make an effort to go out. We all do this. You want to go out tonight? I don't know. It's already 7 o'clock. And make an effort to socialize. It's really important. 2-3 times a week minimum would be really something that's good. And if you have someone that you can trust, touching them is important. Now, consensual touching, of course. But a hug. For example, if you hug somebody, it releases a chemical in your brain called oxytocin. Oxytocin is the bonding neurotransmitter. It bonds you to other people. This is why when babies are young, it's very important that you touch them, you hug them, you kiss them, because that oxytocin is built up in you. And when a mother breastfeeds, oxytocin is released. When people have romantic interludes, for women, oxytocin is released. It's a bonding neurotransmitter in the brain so that it makes you feel closer to that person. So even something as simple as touching somebody's arm is going to make a big difference in helping their neurotransmitters develop and form so that their brain works better. Also, when you touch, you release something called dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that gives you pleasure. When you're lonely, dopamine levels have a tendency to drop. So dopamine and oxytocin are the two neurotransmitters that are released when we actually socialize and have some physical contact. So if you have that opportunity in a safe environment, that's something that's really good, not just for the other person, it's also good for you too. Nobody loses. Everybody wins. And that's one of the reasons I think we like to pet dogs, because when we have physical contact with another being, it releases these chemicals in our brain. Pretty cool stuff. So you're ruining your body if you're staying home too much. Go out and socialize. And what's nice is you can go onto this Facebook and find something with common interest, people with common interest. Maybe I'm vegan, so maybe it's a vegan cooking class. Maybe it's I'm Italian, there's Italian groups. And you can go to these things by yourself, because a lot of these groups, everybody's there by themselves. And they're just there for the same reason you are, to have a connection. So we talk on this show a lot about health, but we're going to cover some different aspects of health today. If you're vitamin D deficient, it can be adversely affecting your health on so many different levels. And the only way we can get vitamin D is be out in the sun, or if we take it as a supplement. Now, if you're out in the sun, you need about 10, 20 minutes a day with good exposure. Maybe your face, your neck, your arms, if you have shorts, your legs. 20 minutes a day should give you enough vitamin D during late spring, summer, and early fall. From late fall to early spring, you're not going to get enough vitamin D no matter how much you're out in the sun, because the angle of the sun is different in the winter than it is in the summer. You're not getting the UVB rays. UVB rays are the rays that interact with cholesterol on your skin and then form eventually what becomes vitamin D. So I strongly advise, unless you're out in the sun a lot, that you take a vitamin D supplement. Now, somebody asked me this the other day when I was a guest on a show, can you take vitamin D without vitamin K2? And the answer is no. You shouldn't. Can you? Yes, but you shouldn't. And the reason is vitamin D does many things. It helps the immune system, helps the brain function, it studies with cancer prevention, but vitamin D helps you absorb calcium. Once the calcium is absorbed, you don't want it just floating around in your blood. You want to get it to where it's supposed to go, and in most cases, that would be the bones. Vitamin K2 directs the calcium into the bones. If you're just doing vitamin D3, the calcium levels can get too high in your blood. So it's got to be vitamin D3, not vitamin D2. Vitamin D2 synthetic version, you want to do D3, and you want to make sure you have K2 with it. So on our website, drjoe.com, we have a supplement, Dr. Joe's Vitamin D3 with K2. I take 5 drops a day. As an adult, most people can do well with 5 drops a day. The recommended minimum dose that you should have in your blood is about 800 nanograms per milliliter. I think you should have much higher than that. Take 800 nanograms per milliliter a day of vitamin D. You want to get your vitamin D levels in the blood up to about 60 to 80 nanograms per milliliter. Okay, so I correct myself. You want to make sure you're getting 600 international units to get your levels up. I think you should get about 5,000 international units. So 5 drops of Dr. Joe's vitamin D3 can help get your blood levels up to 60 to 80 nanograms per milliliter. At that level, you reduce your risk of chronic diseases dramatically. There's even studies on COVID that if you can get to 60 to 80 nanograms per milliliter, you can reduce your risk of serious COVID reactions by about 40%. It's the cheapest insurance policy you'll ever buy. 5 drops a day, all you need. Now, if you are sick, if you feel yourself coming down with something, you can take 50,000 international units. So 50 drops of Dr. Joe's vitamin D for 3 days. Then reduce it back down to 5 because you don't want to overdose on vitamin D because that can have too much calcium in your blood. So vitamin D can be toxic, but in a short term, if you are feeling sick, you can take a mega dose for just a short period of time. It's so important. Study published in the Journal of Investigative Medicine, low vitamin D is associated with increased susceptibility to infection, increased autoimmunity. So if you have an autoimmune disease, even more important to get your vitamin D. What's an autoimmune disease? Many thyroid conditions, rheumatoid arthritis. These are all autoimmune diseases. The body is attacking itself. And vitamin D can help stabilize the immune system. It's so important. So once again, 5 drops, which is 5,000 international units of vitamin D3, Dr. Joe's, take that every day. That's going to help stabilize the vitamin D levels. Now, again, if you're out in the sun in the summer, maybe you can cut that back, but that's a good general rule. And for children, if it's half your size of an adult, maybe do half the dosage. So it's not an exact science. You don't have exactly the right amount, but it's important that vitamin D is in there. And if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, really important, keep those vitamin D levels there. So it's a little tiny bottle. Carry it with you. It goes on a plane. I take it everywhere I go. I couldn't imagine not taking my vitamin D every day. So what we're talking about today are things that you're doing to ruin your health. And many times they're innocent. You don't even realize you're doing them. That's why we're doing this show. You've heard a lot with COVID, wash your hands. This is really important because it can prevent illnesses. One study of the American Society of Microbiology found that 83% of women washed their hands after using a restroom and only 74% of men did. So we men are disgusting, is what it boils down to. Wash your hands. There's a separate study, Michigan State University found 95% of us don't wash our hands well enough to kill bacteria. So not only are you not washing your hands, you're not washing them well enough. So if you remember when COVID first came out, it was all over the news, and it's kind of, went through its news cycle, and it's gone now. But you want to get in there and sing happy birthday twice, okay, at a slow rate. That's how long you should wash your hands. Scrub your fingernails. Go in between your fingers. Get the hands clean. Now, it's important the type of soap you use too. Because if you use like deodorant soap, a lot of people have allergic reactions to deodorant soap. And they don't even realize it. So you got these, green striped soaps in your shower and you're washing with them and you have sinus problems. I realized it took me years when I was younger to realize this, but my eyes would swell up if I had deodorant soap on my hands and I touched my eyes. So I don't recommend using deodorant soap. The soap I like to use is something called Castile soap. Castile comes in liquid or bar, and it's basically an oil, sometimes with essential oils in it, and likes dissolve likes. So an oil will actually dissolve the grease on your hands, and that's how one of the ways soap works. A lot of soaps have chemicals in them, and so you might have one benefit from clean hands and another a bad effect from having chemicals. So that's why I recommend using a pure soap. In my house, everything is Castile. The soap at the sink, the soap in the bathrooms, the soap in the showers, everything is Castile soap. It's a liquid, and here's the thing. When you start using something like Castile soap, you're going to be blown away how easy it rinses off your skin. And if I'm in a place where I don't have my Castile soap and I have to use a commercial soap, I just feel slimy. The soap doesn't rinse off very easily. So it's important what you put on your skin because your skin is a sponge. And anything you put on your skin can be absorbed into the body. There are drugs we can put on your skin that can be absorbed into the body. So think about this with soaps and shampoos and lipsticks. Every commercial lipstick ever tested has nickel in it. Nickel is a heavy metal. It's a toxic poison. Every commercial one ever tested. And so be careful what you put on your skin because it's going to get in your body. And soap is one of the things that we use so often. I want to make sure you're doing the right kind. I talked last week, I think it was, about toothpaste. And I'm not a fan of fluoride because fluoride can get into your body and it looks like iodine. So it can block up the iodine receptor sites in your thyroid and prevent you from absorbing iodine, which can affect your thyroid function. So that's why I don't use fluoride toothpaste. I have a water filter in my house that filters every drop of water in my house. Why? Because I don't want to have toxic water. If I'm bathing, I don't want to have it absorb into my skin because chlorine is a lot like fluorine, which is a lot like iodine. So chlorine can actually block up your thyroid and prevent it from absorbing iodine. So these are little things that you can do every single day that's going to add up to hopefully a lifetime of good health. It's not hard to do. It's pretty easy. So washing your hands is important. Washing them long enough is also very important. So these are things that you can do every single day. What you eat, you have control of your diet. No one is forcing you to eat bad food. So if you're going to eat, you might as well eat good food. It's very simple. So if you've listened to the show before, I talk about the 7 deadly sins of nutrition. The 7 foods you want to cut back or cut out of your diet. And if you're new to the show, those are alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. And I know if you're new to the show, you're thinking, but Dr. Joe, if I don't eat alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener, I will eat nothing. I will starve to death. That's my whole diet. No, it doesn't have to be your whole diet. I estimate there's about 120,000 other foods that you can eat. And if you don't know what to eat, go to our website, drjoe.com, and type in, so what can I eat? And it's an hour lecture that I did. I was in a studio all by myself, and we talked about breakfast, lunches, dinners, snacks, raising kids, parties, all there. And by the way, all our podcasts, absolutely free. We have over 2,000 hours of podcasts on the website. They're all free. So you can search what you're looking for. But if you don't know what to eat, just type in, so what can I eat? And it's all there. And it'll tell you exactly what to eat. Not hard, easy. And here's the thing. It's cheaper than anything you're doing right now. You will save so much money by eating the right foods. Your wallet will thank you. And at the end of the week, you'll have more energy, you'll feel better, you'll go to the bathroom better, your love life will improve, your social life will improve. There's no downside to eating a good diet except one. The bad food tastes good. I remember. Okay, I haven't had any animal products in 35 years. I've been vegan for 35 years. And so most people think I'm about 15 or 20 years younger than I am. I remember those bad foods and how easy it is to get hooked on those things because they taste so good. But once you get healthy, nothing tastes as good as being healthy. I think Suzanne Summers said nothing tastes as good as being skinny. I'm going to take it one step further. Nothing tastes as good as being healthy. And when you're there, you'll be blown away and you'll say, yeah, do I miss meatball sandwiches? Yeah, I do. But it's not worth it. I promise you. And the other thing you can do to keep yourself healthy is make sure your nervous system is working properly. Your nervous system controls everything. Your brain sends messages down your spine, out your nerves to every cell in the body. The heart, the lungs, the liver, the spleen, the kidneys, the gallbladder, the prostate. Everything is hardwired to the brain by nerves. Two things can interfere with the messages from the brain to the body: chemical or physical. Now, chemical would be food, drugs, alcohol, environmental toxins. That's why I push nutrition so hard, because you have control of what you eat. It's a very simple process. You want to do an experiment? Go to a restaurant, cover up the food, look at the prices. Pick the cheapest thing on the menu. Inevitably, I've never seen it not, that'll be the healthiest thing on the menu. It's just that simple. Okay? So you save money too. So you can, instead of saying you're cheap, just say you're healthy. Save a lot of money. But if nobody's telling you or forcing you what to eat. You have control of that. But the nervous system, if you have a pinched nerve, you might have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, headaches. That's the easiest thing in the world to fix in most cases. Chiropractic care is the most effective, least expensive treatment for back pain. In most cases. Not all. Most. So if you have pain, I can't imagine why you wouldn't go to a chiropractor first. Most effective, least expensive. It's an absolute no-brainer. And some insurance companies now are finally getting smart and saying, no, before we allow you to have surgery, we need you to go conservative treatments first. Let's do chiropractic first. If it doesn't work, then we can do injections and surgery. Good for them. They're saving a ton of money. They're saving you a lot of aggravation and perhaps even some issues later on. So if you have a problem, make an appointment to come see us. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb, the Atlanta area. We would love to be your doctors. So drjoe.com is the website. You can book it right online. There's phone numbers everywhere. You can call us if you want to. But you can book an appointment at any of our offices right online. We accept almost all insurances, car accidents. Here's the thing. If you're ever in a car accident, if the car is damaged, you're damaged. That's my experience, 38 years. I've never seen it not happen. You are not tougher than your car. So if you're in an accident, you know somebody in an accident, please get them to see us as soon as possible. I cannot stress that enough. Okay, and the website again, drjoe.com. Great information there. All right, some other things that you're doing to ruin your health. You're not getting enough sleep. Many of us think that we're still 16 years old and we can stay up late, drink a six-pack of beer, have a pizza, sleep for 3 hours, go to work the next day. It don't work that way anymore. We're getting old. And so sleep is really important. When you sleep, your body engages in so many different processes to repair and regenerate the body. Your body heals when it's sleeping. One of them is to make sure the immune system works properly. So if you're not getting enough sleep, it's going to adversely affect your immune system. So when you're sleeping, your body produces inflammatory cytokines, they're called. They're chemicals. And then the body fights them off. So the body releases all these different chemicals from the adrenal glands, like cytokines, and some cause inflammation, some fight inflammation. So that's when the body does its healing. Now, sometimes we need inflammation for the body to heal. Inflammation can be a good thing. Out of control inflammation is where we have the problems. And so sleep is where that body regulates it. So according to the National Sleep Foundation, we recommend adults get about 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep a day. Teenagers a little bit more. And children, of course, infants, they just sleep all day anyway, because that's when they're growing. Now, if you're not getting good sleep, go to our website, drjoe.com, and type in the word sleep in the search bar. And we did a show on sleep. It'll give you a ton of different hints on things that you can do to keep that body healthy. And sleep is so important. It's one thing we do a third of our lives. And many of us don't get good night's sleeps. Could be from chemicals. It could be from drugs. Could be from alcohol. Could be from dehydration. Could be from stress. Could be from acid reflux. How many people have acid reflux? Raise your hands. A ton of you do. I know you do. You come in the office and you tell me. Acid reflux might cause heartburn, acid reflux, burping, gas, bloating, chronic cough. People doing that all day. That's a sign of acid coming up into the esophagus, irritating the throat. That can be dangerous because if you have acid reflux, you may be irritating the esophagus, and that can lead actually to cancer. And I've known people dying of cancer, of esophageal cancer, and they had acid reflux. And in most cases, if the stomach is pushed up against the diaphragm, we're able to pull the stomach down away from the diaphragm, physically move the stomach, and resolve the issue. Not in all cases, in most. So if you have acid reflux, that can affect your sleep because your diaphragm can't push down and get enough air into your lungs. You could be coughing all night. You could have burning in your throat. Very serious condition. and in most cases, easy to fix. Even snoring. Snoring is oftentimes due to the stomach up against the diaphragm. Pull the stomach away from the diaphragm. The snoring is a symptom. It's telling you that there's something wrong. Snoring is not the problem. Snoring is telling you that there's something not working properly. So you might want to come see us, and let's see if we can get that fixed for you. Again, we can't promise results, but we get pretty good results. Other things that you're doing to adversely affect your health. You're constantly stressed out. It's a big problem. There's chemical, mental, and physical stress. Now, the physical stress we talked about, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, knee issues, many cases, that's a chiropractic issue. It may take a few weeks to get resolved, but in most cases, when pain is involved, chiropractic should be the portal of entry. Absolutely. Emotional stress. Many times, we started the show by talking about neurotransmitters in the brain. Many times, the brain isn't producing the proper neurotransmitters. And that's oftentimes due to what we just talked about, digestion. Your stomach's job is to take proteins, unravel them, and chop them up into something called amino acids. Now, the amino acid tryptophan becomes serotonin in your brain. Serotonin makes you happy. So if you're under stress, many times you're not producing enough serotonin, or you're not utilizing the serotonin that you have, many times due to the stomach not giving you the raw materials to produce the neurotransmitters. So that acid reflux thing we talked about has so many different ramifications in your life, and in many cases, it's easy to fix. So if you have that, you might want to come see us, and let's get that resolved. Chemical stress is what you eat. In most cases. Now, there's perfumes and hairsprays and colognes and new car smell. These are all toxic chemicals. But food is the one thing, the one constant you have control over. And again, if you don't know what to eat, drjoe.com, listen to the show. I do recommend, too, that you take enough supplements in your body to deal with your stress. If you're under stress, you're affecting your adrenal glands. It uses up vitamin C. It can use up vitamin D. I take the minimum supplements that I think everybody should take are Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. They're 2 powders. They taste great. I take a scoop of each. I shake it up with some coconut milk, almond milk. I drink it. Sometimes I put a frozen banana in there if I want to get crazy. Whip it up in a blender. The minimum supplements to just keep the body functioning, I suggest Super Greens and Essential Source. They're on the website, drjoe.com. I take digestive enzymes. Whenever I eat a cooked meal, I take a digestive enzyme. Because as you get older, it's harder to break food down. Digestive enzymes, most cases, solves that problem. I take vitamin D, I take vitamin B, I take omega-3 fatty acids, I take glutathione to keep my liver healthy, I take glutathione also helps with my immune system, I take probiotics for my immune system. So if you don't know what supplements to take, if you go to our website, drjoe.com, we have all the supplements listed, it's in the store, and explains each one. If you have any questions, send us your questions through the website, drjoe.com, and I will try to get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, I want you to do me a favor. I give you guys a lot of information. It's free. I need you to do me a favor. I want you to follow us on social media. On Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter, my handle is @DrJoeEsposito. So I need you to follow me so that the more people follow, the bigger we get and the more people can get this message. So that's what I need from you, @DrJoeEsposito. And if you're a podcast junkie, go to your podcast service, whatever it is, and type in Dr. Joe for the Health of It. It's the title of my first book, Eating Right for the Health of It. So Dr. Joe for the Health of It, and we have hundreds of hours of podcasts there. On our website, over 2,000 hours of podcasts. Our YouTube channel, thousands of hours of podcasts. drjoe.com is the website. @DrJoeEsposito is our handle. And if you do want to make an appointment, and I think you should, drjoe.com, you can book it right online. Who's a good patient? Neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, digestive issues, nutritional issues. I can't tell you. I've seen, I'm guessing, tens of thousands of patients in my career, and the biggest complaint I get for 38 years now, why didn't I do this sooner? Stop suffering needlessly. We accept almost all insurances too. drjoe.com, you can book appointments. Again, if you have any questions, drjoe.com, you can send me through the website. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Tell your friends about the show. Thanks for listening to For the Health of It. Remember to subscribe to this podcast, and I'll help you naturally get well and stay well. You can also listen to and call into my radio show live Sunday evenings from 7 to 9 Eastern Time on WSBRadio.com and on a WSB Radio app.